Hey guys, James Wilson-Taylor here for Rock Sound. It is Slam Dunk Festival 2023. Creeper on the lineup, and the lads join me now. Gentlemen, how are we?
Very well, thank you. We were a little bit worse for wear this morning, weren't we?
Yeah, it was a fun night last night. You might be able to tell my voice has gone a little bit, but that's fine.
But that wasn't just last night, was it? Like, so you've been okay. You're not misbehaving too bad. But we just did a signing. We met loads of kids, and it was amazing. Everyone was so super stoked, and it's so good to be back. You know, it's what everyone keeps saying. You know.
It's nice. It's a kind of celebratory weekend, I guess, for you guys in particular, because not only is it Slam Dunk, not only are we kicking off festival season, it's a brand new era for the band. It's a brand new single. It's all that kind of stuff. I mean, you can check out the photos right now on Rock Sound. There you go. There's a plug. But like, it really is a big theatrical statement with that first performance back. Tell me about putting it together. Tell me about the look. Tell me about the severed head. Just tell me about it all.
The head was a nightmare, actually. Like I said, we had this idea. Obviously, with Creeper, we planned things way in advance, and so we had this idea about decapitating me a long time ago, and I had to go to a special effects expert to get it all cast, and it was awful. It felt like I was being suffocated, and the only reason I managed to get through it is because I knew if I pulled it all off, he'd have to start again. But yeah, that was that. And
where did you do it? Where did you have your face done?
In a prison.
Really?
In the most haunted prison in the country, in Gloucester Prison.
This feels incredibly creeper already.
It was really good. And also, I'll tell you something. I'll tell you now you mentioned it.
Yeah, go.
So, have you ever seen those things of Jonathan Frakes where it's like, do you believe in the power of a curse? You know, it was like, how much would you spend for a night in a prison? It's a disused prison they used there, and they were like, do you want to stay overnight in the prison? And I asked Charlotte, my girlfriend, and I was like, yeah, do you want to stay overnight in the prison? She said no. So two of my friends in Manchester did, and we all slept in a cell, and it was...
Are we sure this was a legit operation? I'm slightly... Every detail of this story, I'm getting increasingly concerned for your well-being. This is...
You know what? I wanted to go so bad, but I can't remember what I was doing, but I was busy. And ever since, you've been telling the stories, and I'm like,
It's so funny because it's much more of an Ian thing, like it's much more something he'd do than I as well. Okay. But like, I called him up and I was like, Ian, do you want to stay in a prison? And he was like, oh, I can't. And I was like, I feel like I probably should, right? Because when do you ever get to do that unless you've committed a crime? You know?
Again. Yeah, exactly.
But I was like, well, we could, and he was like, you can roam the most haunted prison. Like that dude, Derek Akura, had been there.
What a guy.
And like, they took us to all these... What? So yeah, anyway, I don't remember what the question was, to be honest with you. James, back to you.
Hey, it worked. We got that answered, don't you worry. We've got to mention this thing. I mean, congrats, honestly, quite heaven. I love the, last time we spoke, Will, you know, you were talking about all the kind of influences that you're playing with there, a little bit Sisters of Mercy, a little bit 80s stuff, Jim Steinman, which I always love talking about with you guys, but it comes together so nicely on that. I guess, tell me a little bit about writing that song in particular, but also, how much is that an indication of what we're going to get on the album as a whole?
Pass to you, Ian.
Okay. So there's very much quite my voice. I'll talk a bit quieter, a bit closer. So it's a very good indicator of the grandiosity of the record overall. It does take some, it meanders slightly. You know, it leans a bit more into the 80s vibe. It leans a bit more into the Steinman vibe. It's got a bit of something for everyone.
If you like the 80s.
If you like the 80s. If not, it's not for you. Do you like leather gloves and aviators?
Fantastic. Then we've got something for everyone.
But yeah, it was a phenomenal experience. Like, we worked with Tom Delgatti, Evil Overlord. We found just a partner in that guy. He slotted in with us so perfectly. He was like finishing our sentences before we even like properly met, and it's like the perfect storm. We stripped everything back, and it's probably the most like real to us, like true to us, that it has been for a while. And yeah, it was just really fucking fun.
That I think is actually the phrase. It's fun, and when you guys are having fun, you can feel it in the audience. You can see it in the little bits of show last night and everything as well. It's like the minute you guys are going I don't even want to say the words over the top because it feels right. Do you know what I mean? But along that line, it's like if you guys are enjoying it, the audience are going to get such a kick out of it as well, right? You must be seeing that actually already in the reactions to not just live last night, but like the singles and stuff as well. Like people are really, really latching onto this new era already. It's only a couple of days old.
It's great. It's really funny as well. Like, I think like we were like, oh god, we've gone another way with this now. Like, and we're always trying to expand the sound and change it around. But as Ian said, like this has been a sound that we've been trying to achieve for a long time. There's been aspects of the Steinman stuff on our very first album. You can hear it all over the place, but it's dotted about, and it's that's more concise. Tom, I think one of his greatest strengths was kind of removing some of the more contemporary elements of the band and replacing them with something a bit more classic and a little bit more kind of stood out. And so I'm really proud of the record we made together. And it was just a nice process because we never make records fast. It always takes us ages. But this one we made fairly quickly. I was like, Ian, do you want to make a song that sounds like Danzig 3? And he was like, yeah, let's do it. And so like it was stuff like that, and kind of like to Ian's credit as well, it's the first time he's ever gone away and gone, okay, I can write some riffs for this. Because we're not a band that writes riffs normally until now, and so some of the songs are heavily guitar-led, I think, as well. So that's been cool.
Definitely one of the songs on the record in particular is definitely the heaviest song we've ever written.
What's that one?
Teenage Sacrifice.
Oh yeah.
Reminding yourself there.
Because it could be a few ones that are quite heavy on it, but it's heavy in a way that like Judas Priest is heavy, you know, like yeah.
It's a really nice vibe for you guys this year. I can see it fitting very, very well already. And also, we should mention the tour dates now have been announced. They've been about you're going to be heading out across the UK later in the year. I mean, are you already thinking about? It's almost a stupid question. I know the answer. The theatrical experience around this. I mean, clearly this is such a themed record overall. We saw last night that there's going to be big themed elements to the live show. I take it's just going to be bigger and better once we get to the actual tour proper, right?
One of the things I fucking love about being in this band is planning that stuff and seeing people's faces when stuff happens that they have not thought about, you know, something that people aren't expecting, and then looking down. I'm trying to like stay in character on stage, but also like enjoy people's reactions to some of the silly stuff that we do. But yeah, I won't reveal anything, but.
Yeah, and I think it's great in terms of like we've got this amazing kinship with the audience. I think that's been a staple of what we've been about the entire time, is that connection with us and the crowd, and them kind of following us down the rabbit hole a little bit, so to speak, doing some more ridiculous stuff, and being up for it. They want to be surprised. They want a show, and I think in this day and age, where this sounds really silly, but like in a world that like is so horrible, it's getting more darker and darker out there, and I think people want to go to a place that's a bit more fantasy-led and silly, and they want something like that to go escape into, probably now more than ever. So a lot we're just this time around digging from a different well almost, where we've got a much more a very silly record and a very silly show, and we're very proud of it because I think people need to laugh and to be led down that way. Yeah, we're proud to do that.
Yeah, silly is the path to escapism in many ways, and I mean that sincerely. I think it's going to be great. I'm going to let you guys go. Before I do, a question we've been asking absolutely everybody today. This is, to me, maybe the most stacked Slam Dunk lineup ever. I think it's a real classic lineup there. With that in mind, dream collabs. Is there anyone on this lineup you've never worked with before that in an ideal dream world you would love to have on a Creeper track? What do you think?
Well, you know, like, I don't know about you, Ian. I've just started speaking straight away.
No, you go.
Yeah, well, I don't know. Like, so it's weird because we don't do that stuff very often. And I think a lot of the time we're always anxious about, like, when people ask me to do it, I guessed it on the Nightmares record the other day, the great band from Wales. I don't know if you know them. But I don't do it very often because I feel like we are so obsessed with kind of keeping control of things. But I would love, like Ollie Static Dress, like he's a very good friend of ours, and they've been doing some mad stuff. You see the crucifixion they've done on stage?
Oh my God, yes.
Yeah, very.
It's chaotic. I love it.
But yeah, like we had him come out and sing with us on our last tour when they toured with us, and it was great. So perhaps Ollie at some point would be great to have him on a song. That'd be cool, wouldn't it?
Yeah, I can see it for sure. Would make a lot of sense. Guys, have a great rest of your weekend. Always great to see you. Best of luck with everything. I'm sure we will catch up around this album and all that kind of good stuff. Great to see you in the meantime, all right? Creeper, everybody.